on the safari
Get
bus.
ready a little bit. We're going to head past some old farm buildings as well. They hit from the livestock throughout the area.
Yeah, I looked in the farm building. I knew that was an old farm building.
On the right, we've got little cottage farming families to live.
Oh.
Now that's abandoned.
And that cottage on the right might become a museum or an info centre or maybe even a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, this
I'm going to head back through the African plains.
Well, so I was close. I wouldn't mind walking in there and having a look.
no, you can't get off here. That's on the buses to drive down there.
So here you have to have the world's largest flightless bird next to a carnivore so they can crack them open for a bit of extra protein.
Well, the giraffes are all down there.
We've also got lots of babies out the back. The ostrich's heads and walk in the middle of the road. Not a good idea. Have a look at their eyeballs. An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain. I've got a few mates on that.
He's taking his time
Just
there, mate.
slowing us down.
We're going to bring their swags. We might be here for a while. All the animals get right away here at Monarto. From lizard to lion and everything in between. See the eland over there, those relaxing antelope, they can jump 1.5 meters in the air, don't they?
But it's finally almost off the road.
The antelopes, that's what they are.
It's almost off the road. Almost.
She's been very cheeky. The boys have been dancing for her, but she hasn't been very impressed.
Giraffes.
We have seen lots of mating with many of the animals, so look out for little babies on the way. So we know our animals are happy and healthy because they feed well and they breed well.
The slowest bus ride ever, bro.
Hey?
The slowest bus ride ever because the heat
Hopefully we
right
get
there
back
off
to
the road.
visiting centre before Christmas, kids.
They just don't go.
Yeah, she's just there.
So you can see the giraffe over there, they're having a feed. And they enjoy eating the leaves and the bark.
He's just like, follow me.
Yes, she is very cheeky. There she goes.
There you go. Oh, look at her wings fluff out.
There. Fluffing those wings. Here's baby Camille, of course, our little giraffe, doing very well. Always close to the platform because that's where the snacks are. There are toilets and
This is where I walk.
picnic tables.
Look at the little baby giraffe.
Is anyone looking to get off of this platform? Alright, so our next stop after this will be the visitor centre there. You can see those giant tongues. 45 centimetres long they are. You have a tongue like that, kids, it'll lift your ears.
The baby.
We've got lots of Tasmanian devils behind the scenes. Every year we send them down to Tasmania. And we're going to have more and more Aussie animals on display, especially those that have been affected by recent bushfires. On the left, we've got some friends that can survive with very minimal amounts of water. Of course, they're going to drink the water whenever they want here, but are they called addax? These ones are like birds. Beautiful horns. Unfortunately, that's why they are hunted. A recent survey of the Sahara only found 3 of them. We've got about 30 here and 30 more behind the scenes, so a great success story. They're in together with another animal. Somewhere up here, which is a bit smaller. Look around, keep an eye out for kids. On the left, they look like goats, but they're actually called Barbary sheep. You can see one up on the hill, that's the big horns there. Kind of like halfway between a sheep and a goat. They're very good climbers, as you can see. And they've got another special trick, kids. In the wild, when they're approached by predators, they pretend they're a rock. It can stay perfectly still and quiet for 6 hours. We can do that. Lots of babies we've had over the years as well. So they are scimitar horned oryx. Unfortunately, extinct in the wild. They've been hunted so much they only live in zoos and parks. A lot of our priorities. So watch this space.
Indigenous lands, and we thank them for the use of their land and acknowledge their elders past and present. With Monarto Safari Park, we consist of 1,000 hectares in the main part of the park, and then adjacent to us at the back of the line enclosure we have another 500 hectares that is known as Wild Africa, and that is going to be another. And at that time there was also woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers and bison. And we know they're so old because there's cave paintings found in France and Spain that depict these animals. They are very similar in size to our Australian brumby. And just like the brumby can be trained, but it's quite difficult. These can be trained, but it's extremely difficult to train them and domesticate them. So these are their other name is also Mongolian horse, and they're found in Mongolia. The Mongolian farmers didn't really want them interbreeding with their domestic stock, so they've kept them apart and really focused and not wanted them around. So we've been fortunate that there were a number of species within zoos throughout the world, and a breeding program was started to enable this species to be reintroduced to a national park in Mongolia called Tahi National Park, and now they're protected. So the Mongolian farmers understand why it's important to protect species and maintain them worldwide. And these are bison. Most of them roll down by the fence line, but you are fortunate to see one of the bison. They're not found in Mongolia. They are found in North America, in the prairies, which are flat grazing lands. So they're very similar to cattle. That's a perfect photo opportunity. A full-grown male, it's more likely to be a female because they're not as large as the male, and a full-grown male will weigh at least a ton. So they're pretty big animals, much bigger than our cattle. Even though they're grazing animals and they're similar to cattle, of their weight, 340 kilograms is to come over on its own. The same with if you put if the bison goes on their back, because they've got to itch their coat because it's quite sensitive, they don't want to end up on their back. So those muscles stop them, they can roll on the side, and then they get up and roll on the other side. There's a lot more of our herd down there. We've got some of last year's calves, but we don't have any new calves yet. Because they've got such a poor eyesight, when the calf is born, they're a golden colour. At one stage, right back in history, around about the time of Christopher Columbus, there was about 50 to 60 million of these. No, sorry. Never been asked that question, never looked it up. We know sort of that. Probably similar to cattle, because they're ruminants. Yeah. With the numbers, as settlement occurred in North America, the numbers reduced because there was competition. On the right hand side is our black rhino. Oh, really close. Perfect. This is the smaller of our species of rhino, so that we have a black and white rhinos. We've got two males, only ever have one male in the habitat at a time because they're territorial. And if you've got a territory, you like to keep just yourself in the territory. So we'll swap the males over each day, different one in the territory. To mark their territory, they'll urine spray around those different points around the boundary, and also deposit dung. separated. They've been used to each other, but occasionally they just decide they're not happy with each other, and we'll bend those pipes. Alright, in front here we have Mesopotamian fallow deer, and they're found in the Middle East. The ancient name for the Middle East was Mesopotamia, so that's how they got their name. And if they're deer, what do the males grow? Alright, these are antelope. They're called Indian blackbuck. Where do you reckon they come from? Exactly, and next to India is Pakistan, so they come from there. And the male has a set of beautiful horns. He's just over there, and he's much darker, but you'll see some other young males. Can you see some small horns? Right, they're young bucks.
Oh my god.
And you can see our breeding are found in throughout sub-Saharan Africa, so it's not the hot part of Africa, in northern Africa. We do have plenty of our own native ducks.
Oh, that's a nice picture.
On the left-hand side, you can see some ducks. There's also a banded lapwing there, and and a what they call it, a dodderer, little birds and chicks. And on the right-hand side are two of our giraffe calves, or one calf and pretty much all calf adults. So we have a number of female adult giraffes, some calves, and one male who has been the breeding male for the calves. With the smaller one sitting down in front of the platform is Camille, and she's our youngest calf. Now we've bred a lot of calves over the past few years, and 3 of them have been rejected by their mothers. So then keepers have had to hand raise them, and they've done that quite successfully. The first one of our hand raised calves has gone to a new zoo established in Sydney. The second one, Nolene, is in Adelaide Zoo, and the last one here is Camille, and she's hopefully staying here and we're not losing her.
Mum, is it emu, corn?
Yes.
Emu and ostrich is a different.
Yes, we'll see that. So right over there is an ostrich. We'll see another one shortly. But the under the shelter there are eland on the left-hand side. These are an antelope, an African antelope, and they're the largest antelope. These are all females. They've all got their horns. Even though I said only males have horns, but the eland, the females do have horns. The males are much larger than the females. We don't have any males here, and they're also very dark, so they're very easy to tell apart. They're raised also in Africa as a farm animal because they're a good source of meat, and the milk that the female will produce when she's given birth to a calf, she can be milked the same as we milk our cows, and that milk doesn't go off for 2 to 3 days if it's left outside the refrigerator. Right over in the corner there is a male ostrich. It's very easy to tell the males and females apart because the males have black feathers, the females have grey feathers. Now an ostrich is the largest bird, and they're when you see an emu next to them, you realise how much bigger they are than our Australian emu. They differ from the emu again in their chick raising processes, because the ostrich will share egg sitting duties. So currently, just sitting right down, you can only just see the head over by this giraffe. There's a male ostrich sitting on a clutch of eggs. Last time I came round, so you can see the giraffe just looking, because they've noticed the female has been on the eggs all day until within the last hour. They've done a swap, so now the male will sit there, female can go off and have food, go and find food. And what have we got in here? We've got zebras. No, Australian English calls them zebras. American English calls them zebras. all have a different stripe pattern. You look around this bus, everybody here has a different face. So the stripes are the zebra's identification, and particularly the stripes on their rear. When a female gives birth to a foal, she faces her rear to her newborn foal so that they can see exactly what her rear looks like. When zebras are together in a herd, and that could be a 10,000 in number, the foals tend to wander on behind, so it's always easy to find their mother when it's time for a feed. These are our white rhinos.
So you
There's a
see these
few
big-
differences, and you notice that colour is not a difference. The size of them, the white rhinos are much bigger. They can get up to twice as large as a black rhino. The males are not quite as aggressive. The females always stay together because that in a group they can protect their young calves much easier if they're together. The white rhinos are known as a grazing animal. Remember I said the black rhinos are browsing animals, so they eat leaves. A grazing animal eats grass. The Afrikaans word, down the bottom we have 3 adult females and 1 calf who's just over 12 months of age. The calves, now I was supposed to be given some hints on the answers, not 2 to 3.
Oh, he's over here, look.
So you can see the baby one there. Now remember, just over 12 months of age. Look at her in comparison to her mother there. So just straight over behind the locks, she's getting quite large. So by the time she's 2 years of age, she'll be half her adult weight. And that's important because that means that they can protect themselves easier. They're not as vulnerable to a predator, which could be a lion or someone wants to eat them. To be able to grow so fast, she has to have lots of milk. And Mum would give her about 8 litres of milk a day. You can see the Dung Cakes just here. That they'll leave. One of the keepers' jobs is to go and clean up that dung regularly, because if they left it here year after year, it would be absolutely enormous. So what they do is they'll clean up the dung and take it into a big heap and then feed her. See how lean she is. She's very streamlined. You don't want to have any heavy bones. You want to be streamlined and built for speed. Her speed can only be for about 100 metres. You know a runner, a fast runner, they'll only do the fastest speed over 100 metres. And that's what she does, about 30 seconds. She needs to be so fast because her prey are antelopes and gazelles. They're extremely fast. To help her run fast, she has bones that are aerated, the same as birds. Birds need light bones so they can get themselves up in the air. Don't weigh too much. And our cheetahs will remain in the same spot all day because if they're hunting, it's in the evenings or the mornings where it's cool. When they're hunting, their body temperature can raise up to 40 degrees. So that means you've really elevated. And they've got a fast heart rate. So doing it in the heat of a day would certainly mean that they'll have a heart attack. The last tree just before, yep, just on the right you see a small tree, a slightly bigger one, and then she's just near the final tree. Has not moved all day. Notice she's sitting with her head up. Her legs are extended and her claws are ready to extend. As soon as there's any danger, she will run away. Any injury means that she can't hunt.
Behind the tree.
Let's have a male. We're waiting for a new male. Accommodations in there. You're still coming to here to go out to a whole new section. So these are ibis. All right, long beak ibis. And they're coming because this has all just been cut. There's more and more. This morning there was one flock of them. Now there's two last time I come, and there's another one coming. So there's lots and lots of little insects and beetles and stuff that they will always go to after a rain and after newly mown hay. So they're in their element. Predators, and so something like a lion will get together and they'll try to scare these hyenas off their food. The hyenas are quite aggressive to try to keep control of their own hunt. We've only got two of our... We have a number of different clans.
Oh look, there's a dog.
Oh, they've changed them over because they're...
Yeah, the hyenas are over here. Yeah, the hyenas are over there, but here's the dogs. They were over there last time.
Okay, so over by the fence is mother and daughter, and then a younger male in here. With a hyena clan, it's always the female who is in control of the clan. So they work a different hierarchical structure to most animals. Most have a male as the head of the clan or group, herd, whereas the hyena, the female is the biggest and they're in control of the clan. So we have females first, and a matriarchal or tended to be an older female will be really the boss. And then young hyenas, and the male is down the bottom of the hierarchy. When a female gives birth, she could give birth up to 1 to 2 cubs, and they're the only animal born with teeth already formed. They don't need their teeth because they're not going to eat meat straight away. Usually takes them sort of up to 12 months before they'll start eating meat. And also standing there, that's why we're taking so long, I've just noticed them, are our dogs waiting to go in. In our pride we've got 3 adult males, 3 adult females and 3 female cubs. We also have another 2 non-breeding males. One can't be bred from, the other one is related to our female, so we certainly wouldn't be breeding from him. So they're kept separated from our 3 breeding males. The breeding males are all brothers. Looks like the cubs are still up the top. Our cubs have some spots on them, and that's how, as they're sort of maturing, they'll lose a lot of those spots. So this is a few little spots down there, but I think that's an adult female. Alright, so one of our males there with a female.
Oh, missed it.
And our cubs sitting up the top, 2 of them up there. 3 up there.
Okay.
Look at that. Simba and Nala.
And the other 2 males are up the side. Yes, they're wandering around, they're going together. Now in a pride we'll only have 1 breeding
Sit
male.
down.
So he has to fight for that position, but he has to be big and strong. And you can usually tell the dominant male because he's got a much bigger mane, he's a bigger, stronger lion. A male lion cub will start to grow his mane from about 2.5 years, so it takes a number of years to grow. In a pride there are other males. The dominant male, he's the breeding male, and he also has to look after his pride and look after his territory. So when you're hearing a lion roar, that's because he's looking after him, just letting all the other lions know that I've got my territory. Straight out in front of us, you'll see a second fence. It's a staff day, so they've had a little bit from what you've given them, and they're going to go to bed hungry, ready for the feed tomorrow night.
Look at this, they got one cross.
No.
So that one's a cub because it's got spots. Oh, so they all
The spots are more on their top coat, not the bottom, for a cub.
So that one there is covered.
So you can see the spots are very prominent.
Yeah.
There's a second one.
They are.
This one's just
And Trina knows all the names. I don't, because we don't get enough time to see them individually.
Oh, look at the male coming.
Oh yes, he's not going far behind at the moment. You know why. So she's the mother of the cubs.
That's all right. They're only young. Only little, are they? They're only young. I think she's hungry. No,
It's a nice photo. Look at his eyes. That's just sorry. Oh, I can never get it.
Would have seen today, it takes a bit to walk that distance. There weren't walking tracks, and so a bus has always been used. Originally the bus left from Monarto Cricket Oval nearby. You'd have to book on, the guide would come out, and there might be one, on a busy day it might have been 2 buses. So now we've worked today and we're still restricted because of COVID, so we still have, only 1,300 people. We have had up to 2,300 on the day. So it is a bit hectic out here. Over the time, the number of habitats have increased. So it started off with 2 and just a small display of animals. And then we purchased in 2005 the 500 hectares for Wild Africa. So that is owned by the Royal Zoological Society, if you want to see them.
Female.
One of them is not a girl, it is a male, but it's a Zimbabwean Ostrich, which I've got a bluish grey feather. It's quite light.
Oh, that is a bison.
With these addicts, you notice that their coat is quite light. As it starts to heat up, their coats will get lighter, but on the reverse of it, it's black, and that stops the penetration of the UV rays. When there's a sandstorm, they'll go and find a rock or something to be able to dig a small hole behind that and put their head in there to protect their eyes and ears. We've got a beautiful male out there at the moment. So hopefully he was towards the back. He's a bit bigger. You can see a bit more of an up on him. You can see the beautiful curve. We've got a huge herd of them out in wild Africa at the moment, along with some eland, and they're quite enjoying that out there. So they've been out there for a number of months. They'll put out earlier in the year. So this small herd